Warning.
Hey everybody, it's him downstairs, or welcome back to Guerilla Spittin episode 3. First episode was just origins, just about myself, or not about, well, yeah, about myself and how I got into streaming. Second one was about the military, especially I have my views about it, and, just coming to the end or coming off the military mountain, sort of say, and what my thoughts were on that. So it's going to be a series, and what I mean by that, it's probably going to be about 3 episodes. I would say at least 2, but 3. Okay, I know I'm jumping back on that. This series is going to be titled "What Grinds Stairs' Gears," or "What Pisses Stairs Off." Okay, this is not to be like, there will be cursing, so kids, parents, put your kids to bed, get your earmuffs, whatever you gotta do, tape them, put them in the little closet and lock the doors. No, you don't want to do that. That's abuse, and I'd probably get in trouble for that. I'd be an accessory. Okay, anyway. All right, so this is going to be called, this is number 1. So the first one, or the stairs, what grinds stairs gears, is pertaining to me as a streamer. Okay, or as a content creator. I always say streamer, and that's kind of old school. Nowadays, people just say content creator, because you can go into a bunch of different things, which makes more sense than just streaming, because you're not just, because I do a lot more things now than just at the beginning. I would say 2 years ago, the first couple months of 2 years ago, 2019, I was streaming, and, just playing a game and all that. But now I do a little bit more, and so now, since the game is getting a little bit more complex and technology advance, and I start to learn things a little bit more rapid, and such, I'm starting to see things that I didn't see before, or maybe I took for granted. This is gonna be like the first installment of this series. Okay, so I had about, me, I have a list, or I have a list of things that I want to just kind of keep in focus of of why I'm doing this, because we gotta be quick, right? Because you got better things to do than listen to me. All right, I labeled the first one the illusion of a content creator. And what I mean by that is that 2 years ago, and before I went into becoming a streamer, or I knew about Mixer and Twitch, I used to watch all of these content creators on YouTube, or all these games. I used to watch video games. When I couldn't play it or I couldn't afford it, I watched these other players on YouTube playing the games. And it was pretty cool. I thought it was an interesting medium just to watch other people play. I said, man, this has got to be the most mind-boggling shit around, because I know how to play these games. I could probably play the games better than probably some of these people could, but somehow I'm intrigued to keep watching these people play. I thought it was something that, oh, okay, if they can do it, then perhaps I can do it. But I didn't step up to it. I just said, oh, well, I had other responsibilities. I had 3 jobs, and and so it was just like a hype dream. I was like, yeah, forget it, whatever. So then, let's say another 2 years after that, I'd say 2019, I decided to do it. As I said before, I wanted to go into Amazon affiliate, but I needed to get a fan base. So what was the one thing I could do online that I figured that would sell? Me playing video games. Why not? That's living the life. Going to that, playing games and thinking, and before that, knowing all these other content creators, or these players that played it, and how many subs they had, I said they have to make some sort of money, and I didn't know how much they would make. I knew the ones I would watch would be like Massive Gaming, Rad Brad, It's Real. They had a certain amount of subs, and I didn't know that equaled into money. I thought, I said, I was very naive. Very naive, and I think I'm still naive about it in some ways. And when I found out, I think it was the Rat Brat, and I might just be guessing at this, or I probably don't remember all of it. They were talking about that this person makes over 200,000 a month, and I'm sure there's probably like, donations and, subs and endorsements and what that, but just from that, I just like, wow, so you're looking at that particular content creator or streamer, and, you're looking at anyone like that's over 10,000 subs, or 50,000, or 500,000 subs, or a million. I think Rad Brad's got millions and millions. I think he's close to 10 million or over that. I haven't watched him in years. So like I said, I was sort of naive in this. And continuing on, the illusion I got was, when I got into it. Now let's just get ahead of ourselves. I'm not stupid. I know that when you start, you start from a humble beginning of nothing. And then you just suddenly, you rise to fame. Maybe it's a lucky day or something, and then you finally get your big break or whatever. But I would probably say from that point, I was frustrated. And actually to this day, I still get frustrated. And I understand people say, oh, you got to keep grinding, You know what? It's like I grind at everything else that I do. Anything else in my life or all the other aspects of my life, I grind. And I would think that, and I don't know, maybe it's just frustration, maybe it's a little bit of envy, whatever. You can call it whatever you want and say whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. But just the illusion of it's easy. And I wouldn't say, no, let me take that back. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. It's just the illusion that anyone can do it. And I don't think so. It's just like becoming a nurse or a doc. It's not everyone's cut out for it. There's a certain panache that you have to have, or I'm saying the wrong fucking word. Anyway, fuck it. There's a certain quality that you have to have in order to do those things, to be exceptional. And I think like certain content creators like Harris Heller, Ninja Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, they have that it. They have that shtick that makes them exceptional. It's not just, oh, I put a wig on and some glasses, or I dye my hair and I'm fucking gonna have millions and millions of viewers. I mean, yeah, you can probably play video games just as good or better and whatnot. The illusion is it's a nice, warm place. People are so friendly and everyone's out there to help you and such. And to me, I find that. And sometimes it could be both ways. It could be just me, my attitude, my personality, how I look at it, which does, if it shows to other people, they can see that and feel that and say, okay, he doesn't want any help or whatever, So I'd say the illusion for me is that it is easy. And it also depends, and I also have to say this too, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. As far as, I think at first, like I said, at first it was just playing games. And then after a while, you start dealing with reality. You start dealing with not that many people watch you, and then you have to make yourself marketable. You have to do networking. You constantly have to always readjust, retune, realign your craft to make sure that you're better. And then I would watch in the past, like I said, in the past, and even today, I would watch current top content creators tell you what you need to do and such like that. And most of the time, I would say I'd follow it, with the exception of a few things. A few things like sending so many posts on Instagram or certain social media apps at a time. Fucking algorithm, I fucking hate you. Anyway, so with that, you think like, okay, I'm doing the work. I'm doing what I'm being told I'm supposed to do. Where is it? And so it's just one of those things where it comes. I mean, I believe I'm realistic to say that I know it takes hard work and I know it takes years. I mean, even like people like Dr. Disrespect took him, I think, 13 years just for him to get to where he is now. So I know it's not something that's going to be overnight. And, I'm not oblivious to that. Even though some people, it's hilarious. Some people act like that. I mean, I've seen some content creators, they think they're going to blow up. And it depends on what your niche is, as long as your niche is specific and you have something that everybody wants. I kind of think in the interest that's if you're sexy or you're attractive, and I say attractive, then it's going to sell. Sex always sells, no matter what they say, depending on who your market is. If your market is, let's say, old ass gamers, that's going to be far in between. If you're some person who's young and good looking, regardless of your gender, then sure, and you have something to offer, sure, I'm sure you're probably going to do far better than I would, or I could. That was kind of a dry one to swallow, I guess, wasn't it? Anyway, okay, so we're going to go to the second one, kind of a little bit, well, not related to the first. So the second one is called, I say, copycats. And first of all, motherfucking shout out to Orcosaurus. He is my Scotty. No, he is my Mr. Spock in this motherfucker right here. We met each other in 2019 on Mixer, and he's been my comrade in the DE, Deutschland, and I swear to God, he's like my brother from some other fucking planet that probably wouldn't allow me there because I don't speak their language. Anyway, shout out to Orcosaurus, and hey, he's a great editor. I should nickname his ass Merlin, or at least tattoo him. Put a tattoo on him and say Merlin, but he makes fucking magic. Anyway, okay, all right, so we're gonna go. Yeah, I know this is like really off the cuff. We're not being structured here. Second one is copycats. All right, and what I mean by copycats is, yes, everybody when you're trying to be a content creator, it's like where to start, who to look up to, who to emulate, who to copy. Yeah, I get it. I know my approach at first. My idea was to make him downstairs a snob. He was supposed to be this old guy, kind of a snob, kind of self-absorbed, kind of true to life, I guess, right? A self-absorbed person, and he plays video games. But at the same time, he was going to be, he's going to be saying gutter trash and commoner and serfs and vassals and lords and how dare they and thrice and bullshit like that, right? But I changed it because I just like, that I can't just keep doing that all the time. So there were a couple of content creators like I would watch, and and I I would say, yeah, let's be honest, I took some of the ideas, and when I mean I didn't take it and did something direct. I did it and twisted it into my own. I him downstairs it. Or I twisted it to my own, my own specific logic or whatever, right? And so from there, I made him downstairs, like the horror games, like I was called what was it called? Stairs a Scary Basement. That with the hockey mask and the blood. That that, and the stories. Some of the stories was like, yeah, people make stories on YouTube, content creators, yeah, but you take it in and you make it your own. What I find utterly fucking disrespectful, and I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to be stepping on some toes, is certain individuals, I'll put stuff out there, like, and I get this a lot. I understand in YouTube, it's always your thumbnail. So my thumbnails would always be, my thumbnails would always have action. They would always be video games I would be playing. So it'd always be like it would be that video game, like Call of Duty was one of my biggest ones, and I swear to God, like I would take off all the heads and just put the logo head, and so from there it took off, and people would say, hey, they wouldn't give me props. They wouldn't give me props on the gameplay or whatever, but they say, hey, your thumbnails are fire, man. Shit's is all right, So I mean that's cool. I like that. And then I got a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more playful, and then I started taking things like, for instance, like different pictures. Like I did one with Nuketown, and I did one with campers. Like the campers series, I thought that was pretty cool because if you're a Call of Duty player or just any like Counter-Strike or whatever, you fucking hate campers. I hate them. They're just the shittiest of the shit. They're the scum. Whatever, right? And so I decided to make a series called Campers First Class. It's just camping, campers pack, whatever, but a Call of Duty, related to that. I put the certain things, and I try to make it like a comic book. Like it's a picture, and usually it's just a couple or a family, doing their camping, Coleman stove, all that bullshit. But at the same time, put a little things here and say campers first class. I think I did one with the Army regiment that they were standing by their tents or by their sleeping bags all in a line, and just like I said, campers, right? Because you hate them, So I did that. And I was doing that, I think, I was doing that for about months, okay? And I got receipts, you can check it, or whatever. And some of the people that would comment, and this is what I get. I can't say anything about the person or the individuals that don't say anything, and they just watch it and they don't say anything, and then all of a sudden they do it. But the ones that know me, and when I say know me, like there's a few people that are, I would say, streamers that are close to me. Whereas I'm kind of like, okay, I'm cool with everybody else. But then there's some that just, I would look at their stuff and you would never see a thumbnail. Their thumbnails were thumbnails were whatever. And then all of a sudden their thumbnails look exactly like mine. And when I say exactly, not saying the logo, but the style, the orientation, the lettering, whatever it is. I could tell certain people like, oh, you use TubeBuddy. Oh, you use Canva. It's like shit. Okay, I can get that. And maybe I'm getting a lot of heat for it, but I'm going to go say it because I'm not trying to be sensitive today. This is kind of like, I've been having this feeling for the past, I'd say probably about 8 or 9 months, because I'm friendly with everyone and I accept everybody, or I would say accept everybody for the fact of you're trying to make your name, you're going to stick your flag in it. But at least, I'm not saying give a shout out to me, because sooner or later probably someone's going to say, hey, you copied from me. And you know what? Probably that happened. And, and if I did see somebody or I was watching somebody that had that, I would give them props, and I know it's probably one of those long shots where people probably wouldn't say it or people wouldn't admit it, but I don't know. It's just, to me, I think it's just it's disrespectful because I know as far, and it's not necessarily towards me, it could be to any content creator who feels that somebody took their idea. And and then at the same time, I could say this. I think I had a conversation with a streamer months ago, and I said, I would say, look at this. And I said, this person is doing stuff that I did last year. And so, which says that I need to always step my game up. And which most of the time I do. Like I said, the copycat method and try to, and there's no way around it. Either you're going to be hated, you're going to go directly at them, and then you're going to start being hated and then probably banned, and it doesn't make any sense. But hey, you people out there, you know who you are. You know who you are. Okay. Okay. So I know that was like a short one. I was probably going to be a little bit more elaborate, but I don't know. The copycat one was kind of weak point. Anyway, so then this goes into the next one. The third one is artists or content creators or people that screw you over / hating. And this goes into the whole, when I started on YouTube, I'll say that when I started on YouTube and Facebook, because it was like, I was already done with Mixer. I was on Twitch, but Twitch, you constantly had to live stream. And so it was all about just recording content and trying to get views. And with YouTube, I was trying to get like, I think it's 1,000 subs and then 4,000 hours, right? So I'm trying to get trying to get likes and subs and, just doing whatever I got to do, just putting stuff out there and making sure people watch it and that, right? So, and I said part of that, in order to, to get other people to watch you, or I'm not saying to watch you, but to get other people to know who you are, watch you, you have to do networking. So I started networking on Facebook with a bunch of groups, right? Just groups here, groups there, groups that were, some were into, well, if you watch me, I watch you. If you, we all, they all play this particular type of game, or they're only on YouTube, or they only on Twitch, or they only on Facebook gaming, whatever, right? And so you get into this group, and with this group, you meet all these other people, and then everyone's all nice, the first couple of days, like it's like when you I would say, if you stream or you do content creating, it's like the first couple of days is like the honeymoon phase, and then after 4 or 5 days, everyone's true color starts showing. They either just ignore you, or they just kind of they just ignore you. Okay, they don't really say anything to you. They kind of say stuff about you or behind your back, whatever. All right. So I was in these couple of groups, and some of these groups had individuals where it was, they were driven, in which I thought, that's great. Great minds think alike. You want to join groups that have the same goals, the same common denominator, the same focus. So then that way you don't deviate. If your goal is to get 5,000 subs, and this group is like, we'll get you 5,000 subs, just do this is the plan, then that's what you work with, right? And that's what you should be happy with, But at the same time, when it constantly changes, and let's say, and things do change. I mean, I understand plans do change, thought processes, whatever, system changes, because, life is never a straight path. And so, like I said, along with the group, like the same, everything changes, process changes, thought, as far as the ideas. But then when certain people excel better than other people, then some of those individuals turn on each other. Where it becomes an issue. Like if all of a sudden one person is doing better, one person has more subs or more views, and the other person's like, I'm trying to do this for everybody. Like it's like I'm doing this for everybody, but then you're the one person that has all the subs, so you should be doing this, and then kind of a quid pro quo thing, and maybe that's something with me at the same time. When I started a lot of these groups were, I was gullible. I just believe that, okay, they all want to help each other, even though they would say they would want to help each other. But then it would help each other on their own terms. So after a while, I just started leaving certain groups, because there were certain groups that they didn't want you to post every single day, even though if you were posting content every single day, or if you posted an ad, they didn't want you to post an ad because they didn't post an ad. I even had one group, and this was hilarious. The group I had a video, and before I would put out the video, I would kind of air a teaser or an ad just to tease it. and say that, okay, this is going to come out. And then I would have the actual video and the link and of that particular video, because I did most of my videos on YouTube. So when it came out, and what I would do is I would load it, and this was on Facebook. This was on Facebook because I didn't have problems with Twitter or Instagram. I didn't run into that. It was always Facebook that was always the issue, and that's why I don't deal with them anymore. But when I would join these groups on Facebook, and this one particular group in question, or in mind, so when I would do it, they would always have to approve it, which was fine. I understood it, because they would tell you right up front, if you're going to load something, we are going to have an administrator that's going to look at it and then approve it, and if they like it, fine. They didn't approve it. So then, and my thing is, the video has to go. It doesn't matter. So it's not like I don't really need Facebook, but if it's there, I'm going to use it. So then after a couple of days after the video was, released on YouTube and whatnot, I go back on that group and then just ask the administrator, like, what's going on? Why is it that, all of a sudden I was able to put a video, and I try to look at I would look at the rules and just make sure that, because some of them were particular. Like some of the groups, like, oh, you have to drop it on a Thursday. You got to drop it only on Sundays and Saturdays, because we're trying to make it fair for everybody else. Fair for everybody else? What? I don't get it. If I'm able to make 4 or 5 ads and this one person makes 2 or 3 ads, that's just them. That's them and me. It doesn't make me saying that I'm better. It just says that I'm able to make 5 ads and that person's able to make 3 ads. That person's jealous of me, then that person should just make 5 ads. Or make 10 ads if you want to do that. I'm not saying, it's not about a competition, and I'm not trying to compete, but I'm trying to market myself on a group which I think is looking out for my best interest. And so anyway, with that group, they just kind of gave me they just ignored it, right? And so I just left it. And so after that point, I started screening all my groups. And I would tell any content creator after a while, you need to screen your groups, because sometimes the narrative changes, or you might change, where your alignments aren't the same. It's more of like, okay, I'm going that way, I'm going left, you're going right, I'm going south, you're going north, whatever. And I think that helps too, because at the same time as you continue to do your content, you grow. And as you grow, as regards to if that is like subs or likes or whatever, or content, you grow. You start to realize things that make you yourself unique in what you're willing to do and not to do. So, and then a lot of times is that when people do see that, let's say other people in that group see that, and they can get jealous because they like an ad, or they like how you did it, but they're not going to tell you that, because that just boosts your own ego and it makes them feel smaller. So a lot of times you get this little backbiting stuff where they'll say, well, you don't represent this, or it's always something complex that somehow it wasn't explained in the process of, when you join the group. It's always something that just changed, and it's usually out of just straight, to me, jealousy or just hating. That's what it fucking is. Okay, so we talked about the illusion of content creating, then the second part was copycats, and then the third was hating and art and content creators screwing you over. So let's go into the fourth, which is and this is I was going to say an acronym for this, but SEO contributors, or those who are SEO affiliates, or those who want to market. I swear to God, ever since I got monetized, I get on Instagram, and every now and then on YouTube, but I get more on Instagram. I always get an SEO marketer, saying this, boosting that. And I understand that you can boost stuff on YouTube. You have to pay money. You can boost stuff on Instagram, and I have boosted, when you pay Instagram to boost your stuff to go over a certain demographic or a certain country, and there's certain things to put in. And I just find out it doesn't work for me, because I get people to like it. Sure, I think I had one Instagram post that had a lot of I think about 5,000 likes, but that was it. I didn't get any extra subs or anything like that. And I mean, and I guess at first I was upset, because I was like, I should have got something, maybe 10%. But shit, it's just the way, I don't know. It's just the way the cards are dealt, or that's the way things are handled. And anytime that I get one of it will be like this. I'll put an ad, or I'll put a post on Instagram, and then boom, I get 1 or 2 people. And I knew, and what I do immediately, I just block, because it's just like on point. They're just like weeds. I mean, there's nothing I can really do, and I see that the more that I have, it floods the market. I wouldn't say floods the market, it puts me into a situation where I'm not getting accurate, my content is not going out. I have to either put more hashtags or different hashtags and try not to, fall into that SEO trap. I experienced more in the past few weeks because of my military background, especially putting stuff like veteran, vet, army, military. I seem to get a lot. And it's the funny thing that kills me is that I get these, oh, I want to add you, or you should promote yourself on this. And, and it's like, dude, I got to pay you money to promote myself. I'm like, if you're trying to get me unknown, I'm not your fish. Because what am I going to do? I'm just going to be putting money in your pocket. I'm not doing a fucking thing. And so, that would frustrate. It frustrates me because on Instagram, I'll just say this, Instagram, I get likes as far as, let's say ads, but likes and such. I get probably about 20 per post, So all of a sudden, when I get some person say DM, in my DM say, hey, promote this, you can go far with this. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not touching it because I know it ain't genuine. And I know it would just be a disservice to myself because I know what content I put out there, and believe me, there's times I get frustrated. I get frustrated as a content creator. It's one of those hidden acceptance of a content creator that there's probably going to be some person out there that is just straight fucking garbage and you're better than them. And when I say you're better than them, your content's way better. And for me, I still think I'm in the crawling stage. I don't think of myself as, there's one person I look up to as a content creator, and his stuff is always awesome. And it's not, he does everything right. I think he does everything right. And I just said, if I had 10% or 20% of what he had, I would probably be better than what I am now. I think I'm okay. I don't think I'm the best. I think there's probably hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people better than I do. Better than what I do. I just think in some ways what I do now is I pay more attention to things and I try to have an idea, but I just think my ideas it takes a while. And that's why I'll go with that. Right? So these SEO guys, they just, I don't know. They just remind me of weeds. It's just more of it's a smash and grab. They get the money and then it's like, okay, hey, we did it. And like I said, I knew some of these cats from when I was doing a lot of stuff when building my channel, getting a lot of I would say ads, but getting a lot of designs and stuff from Fiverr. And you run into these type of people. It's like Fiverr is one of those, it's like a market. Or what's the other one? There's something called Work or whatever, but it's another site, and you can get the same people or individuals to build your page or build your logo, and that was another thing. It was like getting the logos on Fiverr were like crazy because it was like everybody had the same logo or the same style. And then I went on Canva and I saw like half of the shit that was on Fiverr. I was like, oh, half these cats just go on Fiverr and try. It's a money-making opportunity. Sometimes I think about it, I say, man, I should just done this myself, not do the logos. I can't draw for shit. But anyway, I don't know, SEO guys, it's like if I see you, I'm just gonna, if you say promote me and such without just on IG, more likely I'm gonna block it. That's just the way it is. Okay, anyway, and all right, so we talked about that, and then the last one, and this is gonna be a deep-rooted this is gonna be an interesting topic because I probably at some time earlier in my career I probably endorsed it, and then now I see it now as a problem, and that's the dreaded F4F, follow for follow. Before, as I said, I was trying to get numbers, as far as without paying. So on YouTube and Facebook and even Mixer or stuff, it would do these people like follow for follow. So it'd be like, the same thing, like follow for follow. If you watch me, I watch you, or you join me, I join you, or you sub me, I sub you. At first, and I had this conversation with this other streamer of mine, and he told me immediately he didn't like it. And he had a very good reason. In his point of view, and I'm probably not going to say this right, I'm probably going to butcher it up, but his point of view, it's irrelevant. And that's why I come up to the conclusion is it's just irrelevant. You don't get quality content. You don't get quality subs. You don't get people to really enjoy your content. You just get some person that says, just follow me and I'll get your sub and then move on. And then they don't want your content. They might even hate your content, and they might even do something against your content. Sorry, I have a cold. Okay. Anyway. So at first, like I said, when I started, I endorsed follow for follow. I thought I joined all these groups on Facebook because it was follow for follow, and and some of them would get a little bit arrogant, like you need to send me a screenshot. And I'm like, I ain't fucking doing that shit. You're stupid. You're just lucky I'm even paying attention to your channel. I mean, I like with most of the groups, what I would follow just to support, and I would watch, and most of the time I would lurk. I would lurk their stuff while I'm working on my stuff. Because my point was, and this goes back into I think the illusion and maybe the hating, the hating aspect I was talking about before. There were some groups that they just did follow for follow, and then what they wanted to do was you would have your subs, you would ask your subs to watch their stuff, and when you watch their stuff, they would grow. And let's say the person only had 10 subs, and so you would have those 10 subs watch you, and they would grow. But what if they didn't do that? What if my subs just didn't want to watch it because they just thought your content was crap, or vice versa? You can't force your subs to do that, because your subs, they pay you, or I don't know. I fell asleep because I remember money was important and money paid for things, but it seemed like nowadays people love to cash in likes and follows and subs, and I guess in some ways that turns into money. But when I look at my monetization stuff, I don't get fucking much. I get horrible. I get scraps. I don't even get enough to get a Snickers bar, and I live right across the street from CVS. so fuck it. I mean, I don't know. I like I said, the follow for follow to me at first, like I said, I thought, well, I used to think like, yeah, get the follow for follow just to get the numbers up, and then you work on your content, and that's my whole belief is you need to work on your content. You can't just have the same stuff for the same year, and then then another year goes by and you have the same stuff, because there's going to be new content creators out there. There's going to be new games, there's going to be new technology. There's always something coming up that's going to be better than. And it's just like if you took a class where you have something called continuing education credits. I mean, I was an x-ray tech, and I had to take continuing education credits, to keep my certification up. That made you a better and more relevant and marketable tech. So, follow for follow, it seems like it's just false hope. and that's what the false fucking false. So I mean, maybe that's 3 F's, that's not F, and that's not F for F anyway, but it's just false hope, because eventually, and I was trying to do this, and I was thinking of this, the content creators that are subbing me and I'm subbing them, you're my competition, right? I mean, I'm not even saying right, I'm not asking someone a question like that, but I'm saying you're my competition. Not saying now, if I was a person that was just a little bit more cutthroat, I'd be like, sure. And probably some people have done this. I'll sub you, and they sub, you see the sub, and then after a month later, they unsub you. But directly, you're my competition. So why would I want to sub? Why would I want to do that? Unless you had something extraordinary, unless you had something that's like, okay, I know, there's like a few people I just sub automatically because I know they're good people. I know their content's good. I'm not critical on a person like, oh, you have to have, I have a list of things you have to meet, and if you don't meet those, then no, I ain't subbing. No, I will watch you. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I will sub freely. But at the same time, I don't expect it. I don't expect you to sub. I just think worst case scenario, you're not going to sub. You just want the free sub and then you move on. But it says to me that if you're going to keep doing this, sooner or later, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to be running around you're going to be running around chasing your tail, not going anywhere. You just want all these subs, and you're not going to grow, just because your content's not going to change because you think everything's fine. You're not working on yourself, and that's for me. My argument with this other streamer about, follow for follow was, yeah, I get that it's not a good way to get subs. But the point is, that time that you're building yourself up to be marketable, you're working on your content. And that's I think, and I would probably say that would be number 6, is a lot of these streamers or these content creators don't work on it. They don't go back to the drawing board and say, what did I do wrong? Do I need to change this? Do I need to change it? Fine, you get a new mic. Shit, if your audio sucked, or you sucked, or you do something. Take voice acting classes. I mean, if you think you need to, if you feel it's important for you to do that. I mean, if you don't, then fuck it. Just don't do nothing. Just get mad at somebody else when they get 1 million subs. But I don't know. Sometimes I personally think the game's rigged anyway. I think only certain people are just picked because they're just picked. And, you as a content creator, streamer, or whatever, have to to adapt. You have to be resilient and adapt. You can't just play fucking games forever. I mean, my personal beef with that is like ever since the beer flu, I just feel that everyone plays games now. Everyone's staying home, and that's what the thing. And that was the sell. The sell that all these mediums were saying, oh, well, there's more people watching you, so you should do more content. It's like, yeah, but they're probably broke as fuck. They're probably not working. So what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna see some person make money and have endorsements and have free shit. So what do they think? You're just selling the dream. You're just selling them that dream to become a content creator. So they're going to be my competition. That's going to be part one of what grinds Stairs' gears. Part two will be a little bit more personal. I would say probably like relationships and stuff like that. And I'll talk about pretty much this last 15 years. 15 years of my life. Yeah, I probably pissed off. I don't know if I pissed off some people if they listen to this, but if they did, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. No, sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm not going to be sorry for that. I just think that if some person comes at me in anger, then it's probably because I called you out. We're gonna end it right there. Like I said, shout out to Orcosaurus, great editor. He's working on this. We had a little fiasco a minute ago, but he's gonna fix it. We're gonna have some more Guerilla Spittin, probably episode 4, probably in a few weeks. Gonna have some more LMG montages. Murder Boner Melon release. That was off the chain. I gotta say that was probably one of my funniest and best montages. And we're gonna have some other stuff like Mad Max, maybe one more Hong Kong Massacre, Streets of Rage 4, more stuff out there for you guys. Anything else, you can reach me on himdownstairs at Gmail. That's HIMDWNSTARES, or him downstairs on Twitter, or him downstairs on Instagram. And that's about it. Him downstairs out.